Hey everybody, it's On Screen Off Screen with Josh Conlon and myself. We talk about stuff that we have consumed throughout the week, media wise, and how it affects our lives and how our lives affect what we watch. Um, I see. Okay, we all have one topic, yes? Perfect. Okay, let's start with Conlon's because I feel like we're gonna have a lot of discussion here. This one. Uh,
Right.
so Conlon's tell us about the Day of the Jackal.
Day of the Jackal is a show that Josh has talked about before, and he absolutely loves it. It was high ranked on his top 10 list. I can't remember exactly where, but high. Um, and this show is very, very cool. Basically, you've got a guy who is a professional assassin who gets hired to kill really hard targets to kill. And one of his targets at the very beginning, he shoots from 2 miles away. And the scene, Josh, where he gets shot in the head and it switches to the front of him as he's falling over, is amazing. And you see the bullet go through the glass. Like, it's immaculate. It is so freaking good. And this the very first episode, he's wearing this disguise where he's this old man, and you see him take off the old man face. And it is the best removal of a costume that I have ever seen in any show ever. Like, it's crazy. My wife, Sydney, was watching this one with me. She was really intrigued by this show. She watches this kind of thing all the time, and she didn't know Eddie Redmayne was the main character of the show. She hadn't seen the cover. She hadn't seen anything. I just started playing it. So as she's taking it away, she's like, "Is that nah? Is that nah?" And then it finally shows his face, and she was mind blown because of how good that costume design is. The first four episodes of this show, to me, are basically flawless. They are ridiculously good. Then there starts to be some little problems. I still overall really, really do like this show. If you look up reviews, basically every single review I saw on IMDb, like, you just go through the list. It's like, this show is so good except for the black girl. This show is so good except for Lashana. I disagree. I think Eddie is just so much better than Lashana that it makes Lashana look worse. Eddie is should get rewards for the acting he does in this show. He is astoundingly good. Truly amazing. Lashana, I think, is actually poorly directed. I don't think she's poorly acted. Acting, she does a pretty decent job. But I think she's directed to be more hostile feeling than she should be. Because there's multiple times in the show where if she was kinder, then she would get more of what she wants. But she's just so belligerent that I think it turns off a lot of people who are watching the show. She is this MI6 agent who would be trained to, at very least, act like somebody who would get information from you through kindness, like have the skill of pretending to be personable. But they don't present that very well. They just present her as being like this ornery, grouchy woman the entire time, and I understand why people don't like her. As we go throughout the show, in my opinion, there becomes more and more little plot holes. Like, she knows exactly, she gets the information on where this gun maker is that our main character gets his guns from. They're very cool guns. Like the one of the last guns, he puts the gun in a cast and he can take apart the cast and build the gun out of it. It's very, very cool. There's this guy who's kind of a loser, but somehow knows where this ultimate gun maker lives. And I get that it works for the plot, but this guy who's the ultimate gun maker is so careful. I don't see him telling this loser where he lives. I just don't really believe it. Lashana gets to this ultimate gun maker person, and our main character, who's called the Jackal, happens to be there, and they're constructing this cast gun that is very cool. They construct it. Our main character happens to be at a coffee shop when Lashana raids the place, which was lucky. It's okay. but it is lucky. Um, and he has a shot on Lashana. I rewatched the scene. He does have a shot on her. And he decides to kill our main gunmaker instead to protect his information. Sure, but we've seen our main character do some just absolutely badass things. There's a part where he gets pulled over, and this is one of the coolest scenes, like in anything. He gets pulled over, and he knows he has guns and stuff in the back, and the cops literally can't. They can't see this stuff, or he's not going to make it. So he shoots the cop in the face. He throws his gun. The truck driver who's standing there catches the gun just automatically, and it gives him enough time to shoot the truck driver in the head. And because the guy caught the gun, his fingerprints are now on it, so it looks like he shot the cop and the cop shot him, and they both died. It was brilliant. It was insane. It was so well done. Loved it. But the guy who does that can't kill 4 cops in the middle of the woods. And I know he has just one gun. He doesn't have a lot of shots, but he's a badass assassin of badassery. And I'm like, just take her out. Well, if you take her out, this whole thing's over. He runs away into the woods, and he's running on this horse, and they never see the front of his face, ever. They don't see the front of his face. I double checked. Later on in the series, they do a sketch of him, which is a terrible sketch, and everybody's like, I think it's that guy. The sketch is so bad they would never get that it was our main character. Would not happen. But let's say that they did. They didn't see his face, so they couldn't make a sketch. They could just see a guy who has shaggy hair who's white, and that's all that they would know. I'm being really, really harsh on this, but that's because of how good the first 4 episodes were, is why I'm being as harsh on this show as I am. Because in all honesty, these are some little plot holes that I do think exist, but it's still a great show. There's the one plot hole that I do think is legitimately actually a problem. He is supposed to take out this last target, and for this target, he gets paid $100 million. They get set for life, and he's told his wife, this is the last job. I'm retiring. And he goes and he sets up 2 days before, and he crawls into this vent that's right above where our main target is at. This vent has holes in it, pretty good size holes. This ultimate sniper decides to, for some reason, leave this literally perfect, right above this character's head, perch, to go to a worse perch. And I don't understand it. I can't see any reason for it. And because of that, he misses the shot. And it continues the story along. And I literally can't see any reason why this guy who has figured out so many things couldn't move the crate or shoot through the giant holes that are right underneath him, or any number of things. There are so many different options for our main character to be able to assassinate this guy, but he doesn't do it. And I feel like it was a plot convenience for a plot convenience sake that I can't literally make a reason for. That one, and then the last little thing that's a small thing is in the 7th episode, he does kill this main character, this main target, and he's riding away in a boat, and the next episode starts with him just being totally fine. And I don't know how he got away from all the guys that were chasing him on the boat. But again, these are little things. The main actor does a really good job. The story is extremely compelling. His family narrative is really, really good. I still love this show. I'm still giving it like a 8.1 type area. Very, very good show. But I do think there's some issues that bring it down. Josh, we've talked a little bit about this. There's some areas where you don't agree with me. What else do you think that I got wrong?
Everything.
Everything. Okay.
Everything that you're saying in the plot hole is wrong.
Okay.
So, did they see him? Yes. Yes, they did.
They didn't see his face.
Yes, they did. He made eye contact with one of them. He shot the gunmaker and then turned and looked straight at the guy and was like, oh shit, I'm caught. And he leaves. Yes,
From
there was a distance
away for like a second. I just don't think that they would get
good enough to give a general drawing that you said was crappy.
But then everybody realized, like, yeah, it's absolutely that guy.
Not absolutely. There are a
No.
couple of people, but like there's the gay lover who doesn't recognize him even though his face is on the news.
I don't think he actually saw the news. Like every single time they show the gay lover guy, he's walking past the TV,
His
but he doesn't
he's
actually
the
see the
head of
TV.
security at the place where it's being at. He
I
is
guess so.
They give them the sketch that says look out for this guy, and you say
But
you
we don't
don't
see
think he
him
saw
get the
the
sketch.
sketch. We don't see
We
it.
don't
That
see
doesn't
him
mean he
get the.
didn't. It's plausible he saw it.
It is
It is
plausible that he saw the sketch. It's
probable he
plausible that he
saw
saw
it.
the catch.
Um,
Okay.
the
Okay.
sketch I don't think is as bad as you think it is. I think it
It's
actually
awful.
is pretty good for what you're aiming for, where it's like
Okay.
familiar enough you can see some Eddie Redmayne in it, but not so familiar that you would go, "That's the guy." Right? Uh,
My wife
how
literally was like, the other guy that is part of his military group. She was literally like, were they drawing him? Thinking it was some kind of weird twist where the other guy was actually doing some kind of assassination also before we realized that he has cancer. Like, it was that bad of a drawing that she thought
Yeah,
it was
it's
the
not a
other
good
guy.
one. It's not identical, but I think if
It's
you
so
look at it, you'll see some features of Eddie Redmayne in it.
okay.
Why didn't he shoot the guy with the holes? Right? How long is a
Yes,
gun?
absolutely.
How long is a gun? How long is the gun that he is
Um,
using?
the gun that he's using is probably 3 or 4 feet long, and he has room for sure to be
He
able to do
does
that.
not have room. He is barely able to lay down in that crawl space. He is in a crawl space. He is not in a crate or a box or anything where he could just stand up where he's at and aim down. He is in a crawl space.
But he has literally 2 days. You don't think that he can move the crate or something?
Move the crawl space? What crate are you talking
No,
about?
move
He is like in a
the
vent,
the
essentially.
crate that the metal crate that's underneath him.
The solid floor paneling that would be there for.
It doesn't look like it's solid floor paneling. It looks like a
That's how
movable
it
crate,
would
a
be for
movable
safety issues for that
whatever it's
kind of
called.
layout. It is part of the floor.
I think he can figure out a way to cut it. If he figures out how to do all this other stuff, he can
That's
grind through
fair.
some of the bars or
Sure.
something.
He's there for 2 days. They're actively searching for him with dogs. He's gonna pull out some, floss, and he's gonna slowly cut his way through when he already has a shot. Next complaint: he goes to a worse place where he missed the shot because he moved.
Yeah.
No, he missed the shot because another guy came on stage and shot a half second before him.
That's also true, but he literally had a shot where he is looking down at the top of his head. Like he's right there. No bulletproof class. He doesn't have to worry about
he had
any
a
of that
shot
stuff.
at
He
his
can
other
literally
point.
just boom, done, game over. Literally, if the other guy shot, he would still make the shot from up above where he was sitting. He literally could not miss.
I feel
Could.
like
He had one shot, and he can't shoot from there because it's a crawl space that is
He could have shot from
my
there.
shoulders wide, not 3 feet wide.
It's
I feel
taller
like
than it was. Yeah. What are you saying, Lauren?
Conlon watching movies that are like The Kingsman. This is the equivalent of me watching a baking show where I don't know much about baking. I'm like, idiot, you put too much vanilla in that.
I agree. Conlon doesn't have any idea what he's talking about.
No. Garbage. Bull.
I said the vibes. I didn't say you didn't know what you're talking about. All I'm saying is, I'm gonna be funny. I want there to be a new show where it's like you have to recreate movie things and then you have to do it better than them for like.
I would love to see Conlon pull out a rifle in a space that is 2.5 feet tall and aim perfectly down and be able to shoot the guy because there was no space for that. On top of that, it's not a big open space either. There's like electrical pipes and like a ton of other stuff in that area too. So it's not even a clean area. No, I'm not giving you that. He did not have room to shoot from that point.
He totally could have
I
been.
just
I'm gonna rewatch the whole episode. That is garbage. Yeah, I think he could have
I,
shot from right there.
I bring up that point just to be like, because I know you do like guns and like shooting, right?
I do.
So I was like wondering if that's why this like tends to be a theme that you get like kind of um
Delusional.
nitpicky about movies when there's stuff like that in there. I wonder if that's why, because you have an interest in this, and so you're
It
like,
could
come
be. It
on,
could be.
I
And
could
I
do
don't think I'm
better.
delusional. I 100% think that he could have made that shot. 100%.
It's possible not. He couldn't do it. If he could aim from there, I still think he would have missed, and he only had one shot. Next complaint you have is the boat. That's fair, but I would argue they don't show it. But that doesn't say how he got away either. Um, so that's just like a thing we just accept is that he got away.
That's kind of where I am on that one too, which is
Um,
fine. Also,
I
I
would
didn't
argue that
mention
the
this.
other guys were on wave runners, but there was also a boat chasing him. So
I didn't mention this, but the scene where he does do the shot is incredible. Like, it is so cool. I don't know why he has this gun that works with the waves, but I don't even really care because it was just so freaking
a filming mechanism. It's made for cameras. That is
Yeah,
a real thing
I-
that you can buy.
I know that. I just don't know why he already has that, but I can accept that maybe he had a job where he needed to shoot somebody on the water before. Like, I can accept that. It's totally
Maybe
fine.
he just went and
But
got
it's
it because he
really
was
cool.
doing it.
That's possible too.
Yeah. I forgot what your other complaint was, but it was also wrong. Your other plot hole. Oh, how they found the guy. A, dumb guy and gunmaker were related.
Yeah, they were brothers or something.
B, yeah. B, he didn't. It wasn't because of him telling them that they found him. It was because of him that they got his cell phone number, which they tracked.
You're right on that.
So
That one you're right on. You're right on that.
I'm right on all of my points.
You're not right on all your points. You're not. You're not. But you are right on that one. I'll give you one. You got one, Josh. Congratulations.
All of my points.
No.
Don't care.
I do think this is a good show. I am particularly harsh on it. But that doesn't mean I don't think it is very, very well done, because it is. The main actor is really good. The some of the action scenes are just amazing. The ending surprised me. I didn't think she was going to die. I really didn't think she was going to die. The wife leaving, I don't really know how I feel about it. The one other thing I'm kind of disappointed by is I'm not that excited for season 2. I'm going to give it a shot, but I feel like, the wife is left, but he's a super agent, super spy, so finding her is not going to be that hard. And yeah, he's getting chased down by the organization, which just seems dumb to me. You got the guy who did the assassination. Wouldn't you want to use him again? He's somebody who literally just pulled off the impossible. Wouldn't you want him happy? Why wouldn't you just pay him the money and either use him again or just leave him alone? So while I love this season, I think the second season is built on some bits of straw. Do you obviously disagree with me, Josh, because you're crazy excited for this season 2?
Yeah, you're absolutely wrong. We're going to get to see the organization deal with the fact that you said was the highlight of season 1. Those first 4 episodes, when he is
Yeah.
tracking down the guy who tried to not pay. Oh, what did
It's
this
insane. They get
organization do? Not want to pay $100 million to a guy who is a loose end. Oh
that's
wow,
fair.
I'm
That's fair,
so
actually.
shocked that they just pulled off what is the equivalent of killing Elon Musk, because that's what it is. It's killing Elon Musk. He's a stand-in for Elon Musk. He killed
He
him,
is.
and instead of paying him $100 million and hoping to hope that he doesn't go off and tell everybody or get caught and trade his freedom for the information of who ordered the hit, oh well, let's just kill him. Yeah, absolutely, I do. So we're getting more of the him wanting revenge.
Mhm.
We're one of my favorite things about season one is we get to see this two-sided person. Uh, it's eloquently shown when he says "I love you" to the wife. The wife can even tell which version of Eddie she's talking to.
It is very cool.
We as a viewer can tell which version of Eddie she's talking to. So we're getting this two-faced personality. Um, he's going to have to choose which side wins: his side that wants revenge or the side that wants his family. He's going to have to choose. I think it's such a good setup. Yes, he is super spy man. Yes, he is going to find her. What is he going to do if he does find her? She left him. There's a famous saying about a woman scorned. What's going to actually happen there? I think there's a ton of ways that they can take that. Um, I'm
Do you
so
think her
excited.
leaving was well done, in your
Yes.
opinion? Okay.
Yes, because all of her
I
family
think I
was
agree
telling
too.
her to leave for like half of the season. And she was
Yeah.
like, no, no, no. Then he admits that he's a killer. And she still says, okay, fine. And then she sees what he does on the news.
That's true. That's true.
And
Yeah.
she actually gets that realization of this is who I'm actually married to. And so she finally breaks and leaves. Right? I think it's extremely well done. It's extremely real. Women who are in abusive relationships can talk about it all the time about why they stay, how they have hope that he'll be a better person, how when he says, I'll change, I promise, or this is the last time, I promise. They do it
But
all
do
the
you
time.
think she is in an abusive situation? He treats her really,
Yes,
really well. Okay.
lying to your spouse constantly is toxic, bad behavior.
Do you think that that's the same for somebody who's literally has a job where they can't talk about what they do? There are people like that. Do you
They are
think that's
protected
a
in their
abusive situation?
marriages. And yeah,
Oh, are they? I actually didn't know that.
yeah,
I
you're
thought they couldn't talk to
protected
the
in
wife
your
spouse
marriage.
either.
Yep, that you're
Oh,
if you are married and your spouse goes, you have basically the same thing as client confidentiality.
okay.
You
You
cannot
just
be
have to
forced
sign.
to speak on them or admit guilt or do
Oh,
anything.
so you could tell your spouse about it, but
Yep.
are you technically supposed to? Like, does your spouse have to sign
I
the
think it's
same
a personal.
confidentiality
No, they don't.
things? Okay.
No, they don't. I think it's a personal decision for each person. And I think that there's layers to it. It's not as simple as tell them everything and tell them nothing. But Eddie Rainman's character tells her nothing, actively lies to her about what he does. It's not like he's telling half truths or everything. He constantly lies, he constantly goes around her back, and it's really easy to be the guy who's only there sometimes to do the right things. Right? We see the good in his character. That's why we can root for him, is because I believe that he is actually wanting to be a good dad. He's actually
I do
wanting
too.
to be a good husband, but he's torn, right? That's why we root for him. But like that is a abusive relationship. Constantly lying, neglectful, that's abuse. Neglect is abuse, plain and simple.
I don't know if he's neglecting her though. I
He's
think the
only there
lying I can
sometimes.
see.
He doesn't talk to her while he's out on missions. She complains to him all the time that she wants him around for more than 5 minutes.
I mean, we see such a small snippet of that though. Like he's gone, but we really actually don't know how much.
We see it on how they all talk about him. Her mom says, you need a guy that's around more. Her brother says, you need a guy that's around more. When he gets a call to leave for a job in the middle of his child's birthday party, he leaves.
Leaves. When
We
he
see
has
enough
plenty
to
of
know
money
he is
already,
constantly gone.
because we see
Constantly.
one job where he makes 3.5 million and was supposed to make 7. And if
Yeah.
he's been doing this for a decade, he has a lot of money. Like
Yeah.
a lot of money.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, yes, he's neglectful. I don't think he wants to be. I think he has that part of him that says no. And yes, this is me projecting because neglect hits hard. But, like, yeah, that is an abusive relationship. 100%.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Um, Go ahead, Lauren.
Oh, I was just gonna say this was a show that was a 10 out of 10 for you, right, Josh?
I gave it a 9.75, and the reason it is not a 10 out of 10 is because I was going to address Conlon's other complaint about the black girl's directing. I don't think it was her directing. I think it was the way her character was written, along with her horrible acting. Like you say, she's
So you
supposed to
do
be
think the
cold
acting is
and
horrible?
yeah, because she's supposed to be this cold, calculated thing, right? This
Yeah.
abusive, evil guy breaks in and threatens her daughter. She shoots him in cold blood and then says, "Tell me the information." And I just acted it 10 times better than she did.
I didn't think it was that bad,
She gets
actually.
completely screwed over by her entire organization that she dedicated her life to. And she goes, "Oh, golly gee, I guess I'm going to use this as a chance to be better to my daughter."
Oh,
She does do
bother.
that. That's fair. That one is fair.
And then her daughter says, "Just go. We know you're going to go. You need to go." And she goes, "Are you sure?" "Yeah, we're sure. We know you're going to go." "Okay." And I just acted it 10 times better than she did. Like, I don't think it was the director. That's my thing. You said it was the direction of her. I don't think it was the direction of her. I think there was problems with how she was written. I think she was written to be this cold, calculated thing, but they wanted to humanize her, so they gave her a family that was just like this weird situation. And you're like, I don't want to root for you. It would have been better
Yeah.
if she was just cold, calculated, and had no family, but they wanted to humanize her. Um, and she's just not a good actor. So when she died, I was like, thank goodness she's not going to be in season 2. The guy she teams up with, I'm like, I can root for that guy. Why is he not just the main guy who's chasing our guy? Because he's way better. Oh, because he's not a black woman. That's why. I don't know if that's actually true. I didn't feel like that was why, but
I didn't feel like that was why either. I do think they had a little bit of the woman power,
yeah, she can do
be
anything, even
aggressive
though she shows
thing.
no athleticism or skill in anything ever. She's always wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that's why I
she's
felt like it
got
was more
problems.
directing and some writing. I do agree with that. But directing on being like, you are empowered. You don't need to be soft and kind and like show those feminine traits. You don't need to do any of that. When even if she just pretended to show some of those traits, like when she's talking with the woman whose daughter died, if like she just even pretended to show some of those traits, she would get further along with the perp if that's all she was trying to do,
But
was
that's the
just
thing. I
pretending.
think she was written and directed to do that. There's the
Okay,
scene where she
to be
tells
more
her,
harsh.
and the words sound sympathetic, but she's like, "Yeah, I'm really sorry, but your daughter died. It's not my
Okay,
fault. I still need your help. Please help me." Like, what is this? Like, the writing just for her character, not great. The acting for her character, not great. It's hard for me to believe that the director who's directing Eddie Redmayne and every other person on screen screwed up her character that bad.
that's fair. That's a fair point because he directs Eddie so damn good.
Yeah. Well, everybody, literally everybody. There's the MI6 leader lady, right? We get that moment where she gets flipped on and she's like, like we see that oh shit in her face,
We
right?
do.
She is this cold, calculating, trying to be all, do all the things without knowing all the information. and she is better on screen. The guy that the black girl teams up with is better on screen. The wife is better on screen. The baby that they have together that literally does nothing but play with a toy plane does better on screen than she does.
Do you think the brother is good? Because I don't really. That was
I think
another
he's
weak point
fine.
for me.
I think
Okay.
he could
I
have
don't
been a
think he's
little
very
bit
good.
more skeevy because he is trying to be like, hey, come talk to this bookie guy. We've got a business opportunity to you. And he just kind of talks like, hey, man, I really want you to come meet this guy that everybody says is super evil, but I've got a business, like he should have been more, what's his name? Lord of the Rings,
Oh,
Rohan,
yeah.
Wormtongue. He should have been more Wormtongue.
Yeah.
A little bit more skeevy, a little bit more like conniving than he actually was. Is just kind of a doofus, but that's how he was written. Was kind of just like a doofus, and so he was fine. I don't think he's bad. I don't think he's good. He played his role. He did the minimum of what was required of that role.
Okay.
But yeah, for me, the biggest problem is the black girl,
Lashana Lynch.
because this could have been another warrior where I'm like, I want both sides to win. But instead,
And
I'm
you
rooting
don't.
for this guy who is clearly a bad guy. So
Okay.
And then,
Cool.
what did you rate this again, Conlon?
Like an 8.1, 8.2 right in there. It's still great. Like, you think Lauren should watch this? I don't really know. But it's really good show.
Lauren, what
It
do
is a
you
really good
think
show.
of Bourne or Mission Impossible or any of like James Bond?
I'll watch it if it's on.
Then you'll probably have I think this is a really good version of those. That is a TV series instead of a
I agree.
But
I
if
was like,
that's
I'd
not your
probably
cup of tea,
watch it because I like Eddie Redmayne.
yeah.
Just like how I like Daniel Craig, so I've seen most of the 007s with Daniel Craig. But
I think
This
you'll
is,
like
in
it.
my
I
opinion,
don't think you'll like it as much as Conlon and I.
yeah,
this is the best thing Eddie's ever done. Pretty
That
easily,
is
actually.
wild.
Eddie is so. As far as his acting, Eddie is so good in this. Eddie
Also,
is
so good in Fantastic
good.
Beasts.
I was gonna say Fantastic Beasts. I think he's like. Do I think Fantastic Beasts is the best movie ever? No. Do I think he plays the
He's
crap out
very
of that
good.
role? Yes, he does.
Is he the
So
best
good.
saving grace of the Les Mis movie? Also, yes.
Him and the girl, what's her name?
Cosette.
Not Cosette. The one that loves him, but he's not in love with her. That girl.
Oh, the best friend girl. Yeah.
Yeah, she's the best part of the movie.
And
but
his
he's
best
the
friend.
second part.
I think he's the best part
Yeah.
about the movie version. But I agree with you. This is his best role. Because it's just better than those other two things. It is just better than Fantastic Beasts. It is just better than Les Mis. But, like, what I get out of this is Eddie Redmayne is a super underrated actor.
Super
and
underrated,
he can do a very diverse. I'm not saying the other stuff he does better in either. I just think
Like
he's
But it is a
phenomenal
different character.
in both.
He is
things.
so good
I
in this.
couldn't pick a best role like he did the best in because both. I think he does perfect.
Yeah,
The
I'm interested.
pain on his face when he has to kill the old couple is so good. Like his little moments in this that are so good. The anger when he realizes his wife is gone is like, I felt that anger, and I think anger is a hard thing to fake, where it's cold anger. It's not like they're really like anger, where it has those cold moments. You can just see it in his eyes that he's pissed and he's on the hunt. Like, I was so impressed with his acting in this. Anyway, what were you gonna say, Lauren?
I can't remember, but I think we should move on because we've been talking about this for forever.
Very long time. Very long time.
Let's move on to your topic, Josh, which I also watched this week, but I didn't put as a topic. So,
I'm very interested in this
That's
movie.
too darn bad. So the
what
movie
is
I
your topic?
watched is Rental Family. It is a movie I've been looking forward to since I saw it announced. I am not the biggest Brendan Fraser fan. Um, hot
Don't
take:
worry,
I
I am.
think Tom Cruise did a better job in The Mummy than he did. Um, I didn't really grow up on the George of the Jungle movies. I'd seen them, but like I like him. I didn't love him. Um, but I saw this and I was like, I am so interested in that concept. And in this concept, he is an actor. He gets picked up to play the role in people's actual lives. So in one, a daughter pays him to pretend to be a journalist to write about a actor who's been forgotten's career. And in another one, he's paid to pretend to be the father of a daughter so that she can get into a school where they're super traditional and don't like families with that are single mother homes, uh, and some other ones. Um, I was very intrigued by that idea, so I was looking forward to it. And so when it first came out, I was able to watch it, and this is the most shocking movie I've ever seen. Um,
Okay.
the first time he gets a job, it's to pretend to marry somebody else so that she can be in a lesbian relationship.
Hmm.
And the parents want her to marry a man, obviously. It's Japan, very traditional roles. And he wants to bail out. He wants to have nothing to do with this. He feels guilty about lying. And there's a scene where the other actress lady comes in and is like, if you don't go through with this at this point, she will be shamed into dying. And that was my first whoa moment. Like, I was with him at this up until that point where I wasn't really thinking about this bigger picture of this culture I don't know a lot about. And so he goes through with it. And you see him struggle his way through with it. And you see him get to the end. And they're just sitting in the honeymoon suite, really awkward. Like, you excited for, moving to America? And she's like, yeah, it's going to be great. And then her lesbian lover comes in and he gets this look of like, oh, I actually contributed to this happening, to this moment, right? So he becomes addicted to this. So he takes on other roles. He becomes part of the company. It grows and grows and grows. Um, he builds this relationship. This movie is all about relationships and how this service, which by the way is a real service that they actually offer in Japan, there are over 800 companies that offer this service in Tokyo. Um, he's supposed to have a one sided relationship where he pretends to be the father, he pretends to be the journalist. They get what they want, he gets paid. But relationships really aren't that simple. And so he forms attachments. He has actual conversations. He breaks some rules. He crosses some lines. He makes promises he knows he can't keep because he's quote unquote playing the role.
Okay.
And it has actual real consequences to his life, to his psyche. Um, this is such a small thing in the movie, but he gets paid to play video games with this guy. So he goes in, and this guy's an absolute loser. His room is covered in garbage and stuff. He's kind of overweight. He's never doesn't cut his hair. His beard has grown out. All he does is play video games. And so he pays. Brendan Fraser goes in, and he accepts him, and he loves him. And we don't really get a ton of this guy's story, but we do see him clean up his apartment. Brendan Fraser helps him clean up his apartment. He gets a haircut, and Brendan Fraser's character says, hey, good haircut, looks good, nice man. He doesn't make it a big deal. He doesn't shock him into reverting into the guy he was, because that can be such a big thing, something I can relate to, of like making a change and somebody makes a big deal out of it. And I'm like, I know you're being nice, but that's scary to be in that spotlight. Um, and we see him grow and change. Brendan Fraser's character didn't have a mother or father. Father, he didn't really have a father. Um, so he goes and he pretends to be a journalist, and he just sits and listens to this old guy who was an actor talk about his life. Um, and it's really, really cool, really interesting, but it really hits its high point when he goes back to the guy's childhood home, and he digs up some pictures from his old World War II bombed out home. And he's like, this is the life I lived before my life. I forgot how exactly he said it. But I found that saying so powerful, of like, that was my life before I became the person I am today. Of I got to live these two different lives, the World War II pre life and through World War II, and this second life where I lost the girl I loved. I lost my high school romance. And so I went out and I became this actor and everything, because I knew I wouldn't find that love again. So he had two different entire lives to talk about. Um,
That's interesting.
it is very, very
That's very
interesting.
interesting.
It like I said, it's all about these. It shows so much Japanese culture, but it's all about how relationships are two way, how they affect each other, even when you try and keep your distance from them, or try and change them, or keep these, um, protect yourself with these boundaries, but they just kind of, emotion and feeling get through. And the point that like really took me by surprise is the old man dies, and Brendan Fraser is doing this inner monologue about life and that kind of stuff, and how it wouldn't change a thing. And he goes to a Japanese memorial prayer thing, and he's just praying. It's not saying anything, it's not doing anything, but it's just after this guy's funeral, and the wind blows and it parts the curtains, and you see a mirror. And I literally started crying. That part just absolutely slammed me. I didn't see it coming. I wasn't thinking super deeply about things or whatever. I was like, man, that's a bummer that the old guy died. And it's nice that Brendan Fraser's character's paying tribute. And then all of a sudden, there's this strong symbolism of he lives on in you. You're alive. You had those memories of him were real. You did not fake that. That was real moments, and he lives on through you. That's what I took it to mean. Like I said, I say it's shocking because that I was not expecting it. I was not ready for a sad moment. It just happened, and I was just like, I can't handle this, and I completely broke. I was like, where the hell did that come from? That was not cool. Um, but yeah, absolutely loved this movie. Absolutely hit home for me. I love Japanese culture. It was interesting to see a bunch more. After this came out, or after I finished watching it, I looked up some more stuff about Brendan Fraser, and I learned that this was a real service that they offer, and I was like, that's kind of interesting. Um, and then I realized Brendan Fraser is a phenomenal actor, because when he's in interviews, he is my spirit animal, and he sits there like, oh, I don't know, the cast was really cool, and you know, he gets asked like, what was the culture shock coming back from Japan to America, and like what could Americas do better, and he was like, oh, I think that maybe manners, like I think we could maybe do, manners better. And I'm like, that is my soul. I'm so awkward like that. He is just, it blew me away that that same person was the person I just watched in this movie. Because he gives this like sweet, charismatic, smooth performance in everything that I've seen him in. And then his real life personality is like, I'm here for a good time. Everything's good. I really liked it. Go ahead.
There's a interview with Surian McKellen where he's like, I wish I could be an actor like Brendan Fraser. And people are like, you're the actor that we're like think of. And he's like, no, you give me a monologue, I can deliver a monologue. But he's like, Brendan Fraser becomes the character, and like you can see it, and like he is acting his heart out in all the little things that he does with his facial expressions and everything. Because yeah, you're right, you see him in interviews and you're like, oh.
Bless your little heart.
Oh my gosh, I love Brendan Fraser so much. But yeah, because like he does put in like all of like everything he's doing is storytelling. Like every little bit of him is acting, and like that's what like Sir Ian was saying is he's like, no, I can deliver a monologue and make it good, but he's like, the way he's like, I wish I could breathe a role like Brendan Fraser could. And I'm glad
That's really
that
cool.
Brendan Fraser's back in Hollywood because I think he is pure and he is a phenomenal actor.
Yeah. He's just, he's not a eccentric, crazy person who's doing it for the attention. He just loves doing it. And so when he's, I'm going to say it, forced to go on interviews because that's how it feels. Like he doesn't want to be there. He's just afraid of the spotlight. Don't look at me. Don't really like. Let's get through this as fast as possible with as few words as possible. I definitely believe he's you said it, pure kind of person. Um, Lauren, I would love to know what you thought about this movie.
I
I would
have
too.
one other question before I tell you.
Okay.
When you were looking forward to seeing this movie and then you saw the movie, what like expectations did it meet and did not meet?
It's a good
It
question.
exceeded every expectation I had. To me, it was going to be Japanese culture, and it was going to be interesting to see how he played roles. To see the actor, I wanted to see how well Brendan Fraser played pretending to be a dad and played pretending to be a journalist. It was a curiosity. It wasn't like a, oh, this is such a cool concept or plot or whatever, right? It was like, I like Brendan Fraser. It's going to be interesting to see him do this. Conlon and I watched The Whale last year, and his performance was really good. And but it was, it was the same character all the way through, right? With this movie, he's going to have to play 10 different roles. And
Can he do it?
can he do it? And how's it going to work? Because, he's going to have to pretend to be somebody, pretending to be somebody else. But in Rental Family, he still has that core person that he's pretending to be in all of his other roles, which is why I think this is so extraordinary to see on screen. And then, like I said, I was not expecting this really meaningful, heartfelt message about relationships that is so clear and well executed, um, especially about it being two different ways. I was not expecting a movie in which I have to distract myself with subtitles to be as meaningful as impactful, because usually that draws me away with my ADHD brain where I'm either reading or watching, not doing both. And I was not nearly expecting some symbolic scene that I'm guessing 9 out of 10 people just go, okay, and have it absolutely just break me. Um, so my expectations, I was expecting like a 7. If it was really good, maybe upwards towards an 8, because it could have been really interesting and dynamic and whatever. But it is beautiful. It is executed perfectly. It respects culture. It is compelling. It's interesting. I love the relationships. And like I said, I was never in a million years would I have bet that there was going to be a scene that was going to make me cry in this movie. Never in a
It's really
million
cool,
years.
Josh.
It
That
was,
is really, really cool.
Good. Um,
Very, very cool. What were your ratings, both of you?
well, I want to hear Lauren's overall thoughts
No,
on
yeah,
it.
that's right. That's right. Yeah,
Start
yeah.
with what were your expectations? Give us your
um,
review and how did it, you know.
I didn't really have any expectations. I didn't know too much about it going in. I knew it was Brendan Fraser, and I knew that he was gonna have to pretend to be somebody's dad. But I didn't know. I thought that was it. Was that he was just gonna pretend to be somebody's dad? And but we go into it, and the first bit is he's a struggling actor and he can't get any roles, period. And then this is like his last ditch effort to get a job, is just accept one of these roles. And it was interesting because he's late to it, to his actual first role, where he's supposed to pretend
Stupid
to be,
American
yeah, just a stupid American at
at a
a
funeral.
funeral. And the person who's paying for the service is supposed to be the dead guy in the casket, but he's alive and just watching people grieve him. Um, but
Which, by the
Brendan
way,
Fraser does not know.
yeah, just a little side note. I think that would go extremely well for anybody suffering from depression.
Hmm. Yeah. And so when the body raises out of the casket to look at like the person giving the eulogy, Brendan Fraser, he's like, "Oh my gosh!" Like he freaks out, and the faces he makes during that scene is, I'm like, "Oh, I feel that. That is exactly how I would feel in that moment." It's just so funny. Um, but it's interesting because Brendan Fraser, like when he goes back home, his apartment is drab. It's very like he doesn't have any relationships in Japan either. He's been there for like 7 years, but he doesn't have any friends, doesn't have really anything other than him just trying to get roles. And yeah,
He has his toothpaste commercial money.
he has his toothpaste commercial money. And everybody knows him as the toothpaste commercial dude. Um, but he gets to, once he starts taking on these roles of like helping these people out, it starts bringing him to life too. And so like he's finding meaning with going to these people. And there's a little bit later when like the daughter doesn't want him to go back to um her father, because the father started like planning these trips to go with Brendan Fraser's character, and she's like, "No, that's too dangerous. What if he like?" Because I think he fell previously, and they didn't want that to happen anymore. And so like then he's, when he wasn't allowed to start being in their lives anymore, like the daughter and the father, it, he's like, well, we're ruining things. He's like, there was a like the point was to get this girl into the school, but now that she's into the school, she's losing a father, and that's not going to help her anymore, because he'd crossed some of those lines and was like talking, the daughter got his phone number and was talking to him, and he was responding like he was the dad and things. And so um it was interesting because like the moment when like the mirror happened, I got a different um point of it, because like he has a conversation with um when he's pretending to be the journalist with the father, of like, he's like, "Oh, are you like this spiritual person?" He's like, not really." And then when it opens up and it's he sees himself. It was more of like, to me, him realizing he's a person that needs the attention, and like, not that he needs like somebody to come do the attention, but that like this whole time it was also him learning about him with all of these people. And
That's cool.
it is a beautiful scene. It is great. um I would say, like, I enjoyed watching this movie. It was a lot more deeper than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be kind of a slapstick, um, found family type thing. And then it ended up being way deeper, learned a lot more about Japan culture. Um, yeah, I would probably give it an 8, as for me.
Very cool. And Josh, you didn't give a score yet, did you?
I didn't. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 9.15. Um, I've already talked a lot about the meaning, and I could keep talking about more meanings. Something that came to my mind when Lauren was talking about it is how well he represents how you put a mask on when you have depression. And through these fake relationships, he is taking off his mask when he thinks he's putting it on more. And I, for me, it hits home really well. I am not surprised one bit by Lauren's rating. Uh, I don't think that this is something that is going to hit home for everyone. I think it's really cool that Lauren and I saw the same thing in that mirror scene and got two different meanings. That is super, super
I
cool.
do too.
Um, but yeah, I think for certain people, me being one of the, this is going to hit really hard. And it did.
Very cool. Very cool. I am more interested now. Before I was like, it's a movie that I'd seen trailers for and it looked interesting, but it was kind of like it's on my list. I will watch this.
Good. I
Sounds
think
good.
I think people should watch this movie.
Sounds
Um,
good.
Whether they get, like Josh said, probably 9 out of 10 people won't get that meaning, but I do think that it is an interesting movie for people to watch, whether they get that message or not. Um, oh, well, I think I have the last topic. Yeah. So I'm back on my fanfics again. I actually never got off. So I just switched over to, instead of reading a whole bunch of Hogwarts Legacy, I shifted and I'm reading a whole bunch of Draco Malfoy and Hermione Granger ones. Um, the two that I've read that I think are really good and really long, actually, is there's one, I believe it's called Finding Love in the Zombie Apocalypse, and the other one is called Secrets and Masks. I'm still
Okay.
finishing the zombie apocalypse one because, tragically, Archive of Our Own, or AO3, was down for maintenance today for 15 hours. So I didn't
Terrible.
finish
How
it.
could that?
I know. I was so sad when I saw that. They like give you a warning. They're like, "Hey, we're gonna be down in between these hours for like maintenance of the website until like these changes." And I'm like, "How dare you! Can't you do that on a Saturday when I'm working?" But that's when
You
everybody wants to
jerks
be
plan
reading.
around me.
I know. um, but it's actually very interesting because there's like this floating it's like a whole bunch of cruise ships that this one guy has kind of made into uh his own country, basically. And
Yeah.
at this point, muggles know of witches and wizards, and so now the whole world knows that there's magic. And so there's now this dynamic of like muggles versus witches and wizards, and there's like a lot of like guns presented into this fic, and like a
Harry
lot of
Potter with guns.
Harry Potter with guns. And it's interesting because so Draco Malfoy ends up being one of the people who made the curse that has been making the zombie apocalypse, and
Okay.
Hermione breaks him out of Azkaban. They didn't think he was going to be there. They just knew that there was a life force there, and they thought it was the warden Finnegan, and so they were going to rescue him. But it ended up being Malfoy, so they take him, and he's a scientist, and so they're like, okay, well, you can help us reverse engineer this and make a cure. Because if you don't cure it within this time, they're gonna bomb all of the Americans. The Americans are gonna bomb the UK, and there's still like millions of people who are like, yes, there's a lot of zombies, but there's still a lot of people there that aren't infected that we need to save. So it's this
Yep.
whole rush to try to get the cure to the zombie. And I was like, I was, I normally don't like zombie um, books.
Content.
Yeah,
Okay.
content. But this one was like very interesting. And something that I found out in Harry Potter, like with Hermione and Malfoy fix, is they love to kill Ron. Just kills Ron really early. But I liked how they did it in this one because Hermione was trying to save Ron because Ron was bitten. And so she's trying to get Malfoy to get a cure. But then there's at one point somebody sabotages the lab. And at this point, you've had a lot of like Draco Malfoy having long gazes at Hermione and stuff. And Hermione's like, yeah, whatever, I need a cure. And don't shake your head, Josh.
I
I
have
will shake
questions
my
when you
head
keep
because
going.
Malfoy and Hermione together is terrible.
So good. And so uh Ron, there's something that happens in the lab where it's sabotaged. Ron gets escapes and he's turning into the zombie, like he's losing his humanity and switching over to the zombie part. And
Okay.
he it's like trying to say goodbye to Hermione as this is happening. And so he has her like in a grip, and then the switch happens while he's like holding her, and so he like goes to kill her, but then like Draco Malfoy comes in and like kills Ron right in front of her, but like saves her life, and I'm like, dang, that
Dang.
I'm like, I'm gonna need to breathe a little bit after that one. That was bad. Um,
El Spicy.
yeah. And then there's like so much that goes on this fic, but like the whole time it's like Malfoy's trying to save Hermione, Hermione is trying to save Malfoy. They're bad at communicating, and it drives me nuts. But
The judge.
Malfoy and Hermione are bad at communicating with each other?
Crazy. Who would have
What?
ever guessed?
I never could have predicted that happening.
Okay.
it's so good.
Genuine question. Since we're paused, I know the Malfoy thing is a thing, and I don't get it. I do not understand it. My sister-in-law is obsessed with Malfoy. I've talked to her about it before. I'm like, I get the bad boy thing, sure, whatever. But usually the bad boy has like some redeeming thing about him. In Harry Potter, Malfoy one time doesn't get Harry Potter killed. And other than that, he's just a piece of shit the entire time. There's nothing good about him. He's not funny. He's not charming. There's nothing. He is just a piece of shit.
Yeah, I
Why?
say the fan fictions bring Malfoy way more likable. Anyway, Josh.
Uh, I think that there is a little bit more redeeming quality to him, especially in the books. Specifically, Dobby was his only friend, and Harry Potter took him away. Uh, he only ever got a hug from his mother and Voldemort. Uh, like there's some like real big pity points for him in the books. Um, but I think that the biggest reason that this exists is because once in an interview, Hermione, the actress, whatever her name is,
Emma Watson.
whatever, Watson, said, I had the biggest crush on him growing up, and I just wanted to date him so bad. And then he called me his sister, and that was such a heartbreak for me at the time, or however she said it. That's why I think this
I think
exists.
she said it just like that. Actually, I think
Yeah.
same voice and everything. It sounded that was pitch perfect.
There's a lot of edits, and I feel like it bleeds through a little bit in the acting that Tom Felton and Emma Watson were really good friends. And so every once in a while, when they're in the back of scenes, I've seen some edits where people are like, and they're like smiling at each other and like, so that's it's a lot of people who really like Tom Felton and then did not like the Ron and Hermione pairing because I still don't like that pairing. Um, I don't know that I would have put her with Draco, but in all of these fanfics, I'm like, yeah, Draco.
That's because her with Draco is a terrible pairing.
It's a dumb idea. Basically, she's like you were just like they make Draco way more likable in the fanfics. So basically, they take his character and change him completely, and then he's an enjoyable character who can be with
No.
Hermione.
So like what they do a lot of the times, and it like has made me like Draco way more as a character in Harry Potter, is that they give him a lot more of like his motivations for things. So in the
Okay.
fanfics, they have like it's kind of canonically known in fandom things that everybody knows that like Draco's um only friend was Dobby. He's very much like the Malfoys are very devoted to their wives, and then Draco is very much a mama's boy, and so like he listens to his mom a lot more than he does his father, and that's kind of shown in the movies. But a lot of like Voldemort threatens to like kill his mom if he doesn't become a Death Eater, and all these things. So like his family's threatened the entire time, and he does not want to be a Death Eater, but because of the family, he's trying to protect him, and like Lucius is like, oh well, this is what we do as a family, this is what we have to do, and also like you don't want your mom to be tortured and die, right? So you have to do this. And like you can see the struggle, especially in I think it's the Half-Blood Prince, where Draco's like terrified, but he has to do this. And so like that's usually the part, and like you can, and in Half-Blood Prince, Hermione is noticing that Draco is looking worse for wear, and Harry's like, yeah, who cares, he's just a pompous prick. And Hermione's like, maybe he's a human too and we should care a little bit. And so people latched onto that. And thus the fandom has been born, so she can like see the little redeeming things of like he's just a scared kid, and like doesn't like his love map is so screwed up, and like maybe I can help. And normally in the fanfics something happens to the point where like she's kind of pushed out of the trio, and so she's isolated, and Malfoy is isolated from his family because he doesn't want to become a Death Eater, and so them being isolated together is how they end up being a couple. And that's why I like the zombie apocalypse ones, because they keep talking about how they're like, are we only together because we're alone? Like we're each other's best options. And like Hermione keeps being like, no, I actually like keep choosing you, but I want you to like tell me everything. And he's like, okay, I really like you, but that's why I'm pushing you away. Anyway, so that's why I like that one. And I hope it ends good. But I haven't got to the end of that one yet. The other one I had read is kind of a Winter Soldier uh, found family and ends in tragedy, and I literally cried at the end of this. And I haven't like bawled over a book since I was in high school, and I like the last chapter and epilogue of this book made me bawl my eyes out. Did I cry during Alchemist? No, I cried a little during Alchemist, but I didn't bawl my eyes out like I did with this ending. Um, I think I texted you about that. Um, this one, it was like Draco kidnaps Hermione during a battle, and this is like years after Hogwarts, and there's still like Voldemort. Harry didn't win, and he starts planning these hexes in her memories to basically, when he says a couple of words, it turns her basically into the Winter Soldier, and she starts fighting for them and like killing everybody on the Order's side. And but he has a little found family, and every one of those characters have something that like Voldemort did something very specifically and personal to them. So everybody kind of really hates Voldemort, but they have to pretend like they're loyal to him so that they don't die. And like throughout this, like there's just all of this angst until the very end when they
All of
realize
the angst.
all of the angst when you find out that she's a Horcrux. And like at this point, Malfoy and her are like totally in love and they can't be separated, and everybody's like, oh, you were able to like bring the life back to him, like he was basically a walking corpse. And I was like, yeah, yeah, okay, whatever. And then they find a way that she doesn't die and everybody lives happily ever after. This is great, found family for the win. No, that's not how it
Yeah,
went.
yeah, yeah.
I should have read the tags more carefully because that's not how it ended. They were like trying to discover a way to pull the Horcrux out of her. They found a way to pull it out of her, but they were running out of time. And then they're like on the battlefield, and it's just basically her left and Voldemort to defeat Voldemort. And Malfoy's dragging the Horcrux out of her when somebody freaking just stabs her with the sword of Gryffindor in Malfoy's arms. And I was like, she's not dead. She's fine. She's just sleeping. No, she's dead. Dies in Draco's arms. And it was like the most heart wrenching scene that I've ever seen written about somebody dying in somebody's arms. And I was like, why is the best literature on a fanfiction site? it was it was haunting, like how she described this scene. And I was like, I don't think I've ever, like, it was very well written. And then anyway, Harry Potter with guns. Draco goes in with a gun after Voldemort and shoots him 9 times and kills him. And it was like, oh, it was such a good scene because he's like, um, he's going after him and he's like, for every like bullet, there's like a thing that he's punctuating. And then, but of course, like Voldemort lands some things on him, so he's dying as he's killing Voldemort. And at the end, like one of his like found family members finds him, and she's like, no, 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 like you can't die. And he was like, no, it's okay, let me go with her. Like he's like, don't try to save me, let me go or whatever. And then so then he dies. And then the epilogue was like the found family trying to move on from that and like doing all of their wishes. And then they have the epilogue of Draco waking up in the afterlife and like finding Hermione there, except she like ran off with his dragon immediately after she died because she wasn't expecting him to die right after him. She wasn't expecting him to die right after her, so she just goes and flies off on his dragon. So when he comes to the afterlife, he's like met with his parents and he's able to like have a conversation with his parents before she comes back down. And she's like excited to see him, happy to see him, but is also like sad that he's dead. And so like it's like normally I hate when they're like, oh, and here's the afterlife to like tie up loose ends, but I really didn't mind it in this one, and I felt like it was done well, and I cried my eyes out. And it was like the Stewie meme. I like read it, set it down, and then like just crawled over in my bed and started crying. So good. I was like, they were right there. They could have had. I mean, I guess they kind of had their happy ending, but like almost. Um, but yeah, it's I really enjoy fan fictions because of how they set up, especially AO3 has it set up. They have tags of like not genres, but like what you're expected to find in the fiction. So, like one that I tend to go for a lot is enemies to lovers. We're not going to unpack that. Or there's the hurt comfort. So, like, if somebody gets wounded in battle and then the other person like nurses them back to health, or I'm trying to think of like other tags that I've searched for. Um, but like, and they'll also have like content warnings as well in the tags. So if you're like, oh, that's something that I don't want to read, it will have it there. Um, and I love that. And then you can like search for characters that you want to have be in a fic. And like, yeah, I think it's a really good way to like get the stories you want and like filter what you want to read. Versus like when I go into Barnes and Noble, I'm like, okay, fantasy, but like can there be some romance in it, but like I'd want love, but you can't really do that in Barnes and Noble as quickly and accessible and free as you can with a fiction fanfic.
Is is there any? Because I'll never get on the Malfoy train ever, 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 ever.
Oh, there's plenty of others.
I think it's crazy dumb. Does anybody ever expand so like Hermione meets a new guy that is just new and not in the original universe? Okay, I think that would be way, way, way better.
Yes.
I don't want her dating
Yeah.
Harry. I don't want her dating.
Yeah.
Nah, none of that.
So yeah, that's a tag that you would search for. Is you'd be like Hermione slash OG OC, so original character, and there's probably thousands. Um, but yeah, there the Draco Hermione is very popular. I actually went to go search for a Harry Luna one the other day because I thought that they were great together, and that was really cute. I love those two together. It was either that because I thought Neville should have went with Ginny. I liked those two together. All right, let me hear your ships, Josh, because mine are inferior, apparently.
I'm not getting into it. I'm just learning that women have no taste in reality. That's what I'm learning.
No taste. Have you seen our reality? Of course we have. We don't want to taste this reality.
All I'm saying is I've been talking to Kylie and she's into books and ships these characters that I'm like, no, that is a bad person. Stay away from that. And she's like, nope, that's good. And
Gosh,
you are over here like, oh, Zuko should have ended up with the girl we got from one episode of the Earth Kingdom.
Duh.
No, Hermione and Draco. No, like women just pick terrible men. I know that that's like an obvious thing to say, but like maybe stop picking terrible fantasy men, and we could start having you ladies pick good guys in real life too. Maybe, just maybe.
The Notebook is rated as one of the best romances of all time. We already knew this. That's a terrible movie. It's terrible.
Which one?
And The Notebook, awful
Oh
movie.
yeah.
Terrible. Yeah, I don't really get it either because there's just better options, like for sure.
Not
without a
just better
doubt.
options, like and like you girls actively pick bad options,
Bad options.
bad pairings. I will.
Why do you think that is, Lauren? Tell us.
Why do I
Tell
think
us
that
why.
is?
Yeah.
Because they're charismatic.
Because little girls are told when he bites you and pulls your hair, it's because he actually likes you. Because girls are taught that to like tall, dark, and handsome, and have a good smile, and not like good at. There's a lot of reasons why.
I
I'm
don't
so
think
glad
it's
a girl
taught. I think
answered
it's
that.
natural.
I think it's taught. I think it is 100% taught.
I think
I'm
it's
so
too
glad our
universal to
resident
just be
woman
taught.
here answered.
Yeah, but Laura, do you think it's taught or is it natural? Because it's like they look at what women like in literature, and it's very very similar across the board worldwide in different cultures that speak different languages.
So do I get to answer yet? Or
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
thank you. So no, start off. Like I said, they're charismatic. There's called love bombing, where they get like they're like, "Oh, you're the only one for like this," and then they start to isolate you to the point where they're like, "This is the only um like there's nowhere really for you to go." And then once they have you dependent on them, then that's when they show that they are an asshole. And then when people are like, "Oh, why didn't you leave them?" And it's like, "Well, it was so good in the beginning, and like I know it's my fault that they're acting this way now because that's how they tell me that, oh, yeah, it is my like they're like, "Oh, I wouldn't be acting this way if you hadn't done this." And so we take it on ourselves to be like, "Oh, yeah, they're the asshole because of me. It's my fault. I have to fix this." And so then they're trying to fix this person who doesn't have anything to, I mean, they need to fix themselves and they need to not be an asshole. But it's really like, it's a manipulation thing. It's charismatic and they know how to like rope them in. And then as soon as they're like, "Okay, I have to leave," then they start being sweet and gentle again and being like, "Oh, remember how good it was? Oh, look, oh, now it's back to how it was." And then once they're lulled back in, then they're the asshole again. So that's how that happens.
But so I've seen a lot of friends who have boyfriends, and everybody, including me, I've been the person to say this. Their girlfriends, everyone is like, "That guy sucks." Everybody. And she's like, "No, you just don't understand. You
Because
just don't
he's
get
sweet
it."
to her behind doors.
So basically, he is Draco. Like that character. Why? I don't get it. I don't get
Because
it.
in those fantasies, the girl actually fixed them in the books.
Okay. So do you think that's what the girl's trying to do in real life too? Is just fix the guy who's a jerk?
Yeah, because they want somebody who's nice to them, but like who wants them but nothing else, type of a thing. They want an obsession. In like I was saying, how I liked in the zombie apocalypse thing, it wasn't that he was being an asshole. He wasn't like being manipulative. He actually genuinely liked her and cares for her, but like knows that he can be an asshole, so he keeps pulling away when she's like, "No, I don't want you to pull away," is trying to just get communication with that one. And they take the names of Draco and Hermione, but they changed the characters to fit the fanfic, right? So you have like things that they'll pick from the fiction and things like that. So it's not necessarily exactly like that because it's a
Doesn't
fan
that
fiction.
I feel like that would bug me if I'm like I'm reading this and I know these aren't the same characters. Just make a new set of characters in the Harry Potter universe and let me read about them.
You don't have to lay down as much groundwork with that though.
That's true. It's easier. But if the groundwork
And it's
is
fan
wrong
fiction
because
because
it's the
it's what they
wrong
want to
character.
happen.
Hmm. Okay. 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 Interesting. You are in a world that me and Josh just starting. I guess Josh started to read some. Are you going to read more? Are you going to read a Draco fanfic, Josh?
No.
He would not like those ones.
Is
There
there any
is
that
one that I'm thinking of that I was thinking of reading and sending to you, but I think that one was a Hogwarts Legacy one. That
I'm
was
not.
really just fluff.
I'm not opposed to it. We've had this conversation before about professional versus amateur, and like I'm very much on the side that professional doesn't mean you're better at something, and very often you can learn just as much or even get better from these amateur things. It's just not high on my to-do list. Like I said, I'm not against fanfics. They are what they are. I'm glad Lauren has them. I'm glad she connects with them. I think they're really awesome for a lot of people. I just have 30 books on my to be read list, and that's more interesting to me at this point in time.
That's fair.
Mhm. Yeah, they're great for me because I fixate on like topics and I want more and more and more of it. And so that feeds my hyperfixation.
It works with your mentality.
Yep. So, archive of our own as a website, 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10, 100 out of 10. It's great. I love it.
11 out of 10. There you go. 11 out of 10. Ooh.
But I think we should go to our shared topic, which is Mrs. Winterbourne, which has another Brendan Fraser. I want to hear your thoughts, Conlon.
I surprisingly very much enjoyed this movie, like a lot. I'd never heard of it before. I like Brendan Fraser as like a stuck-up, pompous rich guy. He did a really good job with it. My one complaint with this story is I think it happens too fast. It was like, oh, she's pregnant. Oh, now she's abused. Oh, now she's homeless. Oh, now she's in a train wreck. Oh, now she's this. Oh, now she's this. And I wanted more time with the characters, which is a good thing. That's an actual compliment to the movie because I wanted it to be longer. And the brother falls in love with her, but I guess after like a day, and they were talking about his brother who is dead, who apparently was supposedly married to this woman, and you just found out that she was a liar and this isn't who she really is, but she doesn't want your mom's money, so that's okay. Like 30 seconds ago, and now you're in love with her and bringing her roses. It just was like, it was so fast. I think that they should remake this movie into a limited series because I think there's a lot of potential there. I enjoyed what I watched. It was good. I think the acting is good. Josh is going to talk about something that I should have added to my notes when he talks about it because it's atrocious. But other than that, it's a good time. Like I said, I like the acting. I like some of the little snide comments. I like the way that they bring the main character into the song. I think she does a really good job, and it feels supernatural. Like she actually was a part of the song. She actually sung. It works. It was very clever. It's a charming little movie that I really enjoyed, and I didn't get too harsh about it because I just had a good time. It's different than most other rom-coms, which I appreciated, and I had a good time with it. Pretty simple, little enjoyable movie.
Did you catch on to the murderer?
Yeah.
You knew it was the girl.
Yeah.
I saw her like walking out, and I was like, when I first watched it, but I thought Brendan Fraser was the murderer, actually.
Oh, really?
The longest
Yeah.
time until
I
the
didn't.
end. All right, Josh. Oh, sorry.
Enjoyable movie.
Good. Glad you had a good
I
time.
would rate it like a 7. I got a solid 7 time with this movie. Enjoyable.
Good. Josh.
So Conlon said something that I just thoroughly disagree with. He said it's different than other rom coms. My note says if I had a nickel for every time I saw a movie about a train causing an injury, causing a coma, where our main character is steamrolled into lying about having a relationship that never existed, pretending to have a false identity, falling in love with the other brother, and this movie coming out in the mid 90s, I would have 2 nickels. But it's weird that it happened twice.
What's the other one?
Did you see my
Sleepless
note?
in Seattle.
Nope.
Oh.
While you were sleeping.
While you were sleeping. Whatever it is. Same plot. It's the same freaking movie. My next note is there's a nurse that delivers the baby, or comes in after she wakes up from the coma, and my comment is, "That's the ugliest nurse I've ever seen. Half that amount of Botox is still 2 times too much."
My literal thought was like, hey, it's Heath Ledger. That's where they got Heath Ledger's Joker from.
I am offended that you would compare those two people.
That's literally my first thought. Was like,
One is way
they look a lot alike.
Heath Ledger is one of the most attractive men to have ever walked the face of the earth, and looks nothing like a Botoxed up old lady.
What when he dresses up as the nurse, you can't tell me he's attractive then.
Oof. I thought he was hot.
Compared to that lady, yeah.
Does something for me.
My next comment is about what Conlon brought up about things going too fast. I don't think that there was a problem with the pacing or not enough time with the characters, but just a character flaw, which is the brother seemingly doesn't care about his other brother's death, and like a week after she moves in, he's like, "I love you, let's get married," and then goes on this tirade. So my comment is, hold up, they're not in Provo. Because wow. But to be a little bit more serious about this, I thought this movie was okay. It's not original. It is done better than the other one because I actually believe that there's a reason for the lie, in that there's the baby. I don't love using the baby as an excuse for the lie, but in Sleepless in Seattle, there is no reason. She just keeps lying to lie, and it drives me insane.
While you're sleeping, everybody.
Yeah. I did not love this movie, mostly because it's the same plot as, or basic premise as, one of my favorite things in Dear Evan Hansen, where you get steamrolled into a lie. You don't initially tell the lie, but you kind of get pushed into the lie, and then you build on it and build on it and build on it. But with Dear Evan Hansen, there's actual consequences. It actually matters. He doesn't get the girl. He loses out on his found family. There are actual consequences to this massive lie. And this one, and what is it, Lauren?
You almost had me say Sleepless in Seattle. While you were sleeping.
This one, and While You Were Sleeping, there are no consequences. I thought it was really a good thing when Brendan Fraser's character was like, "Yes, I found out, I processed it, I forgive you." But when the whole rest of the family is like, "Yeah, no problem, we're good, let's go at this wedding. We just heard your name for the first time in this wedding when you are saying I do. That's totally cool." I'm like, so many of these like beloved rom-coms, The Notebook, While You Were Sleeping, this one, they treat lying like it's just a slight inconvenience, and that bothers the hell out of me. Lying is a big deal. Lying, we already had this conversation on this episode about how impactful lying should be and is. And these rom-com movies just treat it like, "Oh yeah, that's a thing that just naturally happens and we're all good and it's totally fine. There's no leftover trauma from that whatsoever."
Yay.
It really irks me. I know I have trust issues. I know I'm absolutely projecting that issue. I'm not going to even deny that. But there's a big difference between what I expect to have happen or what I would do in that situation and what I'm willing to accept. And this is further than that, where they treat it like it's literally nothing. So there's lots to like in this show, but I will not watch this one ever again.
What about you, Lauren?
I think it's interesting, like, everybody in the rest of the pews, when you said that they didn't, like, hearing her first name for the first time, didn't really react. But I did like how they had, each one had, of the main characters, had their moment with Connie of being, like, processing the lie. Like there was Paco at the train station, there was Bill at the after she like they think that the other shot him, and then the mom when she's like it's not like your grandson, and she like asks some questions and you can like see her like trying to process it, and then she's like, well, he will be. Like just go freaking marry my son now. And like but yeah, they do like I do think that this movie is fast paced. People accept things very quickly. And but for let's see, did I even write my notes? Oh yeah, I was like one of the things that like I always think about this movie is when Paco's drunk and he's like, she's a woman, woo her. I just it was funny because that was the line that got me to watch this movie because my friend quoted it to me all the time, and I was like, where is that even from? And she's like, this is Winterbourne. And we were on a kick of watching all of Brendan Fraser's movies. So we watched this one. Um, and once again, I love Brendan Fraser's acting in this because he says a lot with his face. Um, like when Connie's talking to his mom about wanting no part of wanting to be put in the will, you can like see because he's like you can see he's kind of like detests her to the point where he's like, oh, actually, what? And like you can see everything that's processing in his head on his face. Uh, Great actor. Um, and there's like so many little jokes that you might not catch on, like because it's so fast paced, they don't let some of the jokes like land. And there's one where the mom's like, "You can be insufferable sometimes," and he's like, "Sometimes I must be slipping." And it like go like they did not let that joke like sit. And I was like, "Oh, that was really funny." Like, I think Bill's character's really funny at the beginning because his mom's like, "Oh, like how did I raise such a pompous guy?" And I took him being um kind of the business all business thing as him grieving the brother, because then once he started liking Connie, that's when he started being more like talking about his brother and being more lively. Once again, I agree, very fast pace. They could have paid more attention to like the grieving and things like that, but once again, I'm a vibe watcher, and I was like, okay, the vibe is speed, speed run the story. So I kind of just accepted that they were speed running a story. Um, and yeah, it always gets. I feel like there's a lot of '90s rom coms where lies are the crux of the show. Um,
Very common.
and so like I also understand where Josh is coming from. Um, and it is really funny because I did put in my notes, I was like, this reminds me of While You Were Sleeping, but better. Because I also do like the fact of like the catalyst of the actual father trying to get back into the picture of like with ransom money and stuff. Um, but yeah, it was a Brendan Fraser watch that I like to watch, and I like Paco. Um,
I like Paco too.
Paco's really cool. Yeah, I really like his how he's at the train station. He like is telling Connie how he's like, we're a found family. Like this isn't. He's like, I don't care where you come from. We don't like we're accepting. Um, but I wish there was something on there that would have been like, you don't need to lie to us. Like I wish they would have had that conversation of like, you can be whoever you need to be, but like don't feel like you need to lie to us. We've already accepted you no matter who you are or whatever. But yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoy this movie.
Legit. Be real.
Yeah. Yeah. I enjoy this movie. I'll probably watch it again, but I usually wait a while before I watch it again. Um,
What's your it might have been on your top 10, I just don't remember. What's your favorite romance movie? Because I know you're into romance stuff.
Austin Land.
Oh yeah, it's that
Yeah.
movie.
I knew you were going to be disappointed.
What's your second favorite romance movie?
Ooh. I don't have like a lot of romance movies that I like. I like a lot of romance books, but
What's your favorite romance book? Not fanfic book. Like official published book.
Next
mm,
week it's gonna be Kissed by an Angel. Just kidding. Maybe. I hope so.
maybe.
That'd be cool.
One Dark Window.
Okay. Okay. I will get it on Libby. And I will listen to One Dark Window.
Somebody's got to. I've been telling
I'll do
people
it.
to read that book for years.
I'll do it.
Um,
Who's it by again?
I don't know that off the top of my head.
And you say it's your favorite Shepherd King? Or
Yeah, that sounds about
no,
right.
The Shepherd King
Wait, it's
by
like a Shepherd King novel.
Rachel Gilling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I actually remember you talking about this. Okay, sweet. Yep, I'm gonna do it.
Well, with that, we'll come to the end of our episode. Join us next week. We'll be watching A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. And hopefully, you all have a good weekend or week. Have a good full week. Bye.
See you guys.